Shashank, my first question, the pace of China's warship construction, even 10 years back when it really started in right earnest, nobody thought that they'd be able to carry on with this pace. What does this mean for major powers across the world, for example, the United States?
It means that the primacy that they had at sea for decades is no longer there. You know, look, Vishnu, the Americans fought a Cold War with the Soviet Union for many decades, but over that entire time, the Soviet Union was a continental land power. It projected force into Europe. It could project force into Afghanistan and the Persian Gulf region, but it was not a maritime power. And that was, in many ways, one of its Achilles heels. This allowed the United States and its allies to control sea lines of communication, trade routes, energy supplies, all manner of vital maritime conduits. That is no longer the case. If you look at the most recent annual reports by the Pentagon on Chinese military power, you'll see that they describe the People's Liberation Army as basically outpacing the Americans in 3 different areas at least. One of them is conventional missiles, of the kind that we know about, the intermediate range ballistic and cruise missiles that can reach as far as American bases in Guam, in Japan, in Okinawa, and places like that. The other is air defenses capable of contesting the skies of the kind that we have seen operate so effectively neutralizing the Russian Air Force in Ukraine. And the last area which you have raised is shipbuilding. And the result of this is that the Chinese Navy is now the largest in the world. It is increasingly practicing operating carrier strike groups capable of conducting airborne operations at sea, and we've seen this with the Liaoning and other carriers. And what this means for India and other countries in the Indian Ocean is that we are increasingly seeing the People's Liberation Army Navy pressing into the Indian Ocean, increasingly active, exercising those naval muscles. It isn't completely a finished product yet. It still has to practice these deployments. It still has to build up a network of bases. It's still very weak in the area of submarines, for example, but it is making extremely rapid progress.